Greetings, dear viewers. This video is going to be what appears to be a Genji video, but is not actually a Genji video. In this video, I'll be switching strategies around quite a lot. And we have Skid joining us for this video, but we're not in VoIP of any kind. No Discord, no Skype. TeamSpeak, Ventrilo. Ventrilo. It's been a while. None of that. But we do have Skid joining us for this one. And as we'll see later, there is quite a bit of Skid in this video. So this should be fun. Just a quick heads up. A good portion of the first part of this video, the first half, maybe more or so, is going to be some failing gameplay. I don't want to say failing, actually, because it's not failing, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But it's going to be gameplay that doesn't really show a working strategy. And that's the point of this video. We're going to change around strategies a lot until we find something that works. And I want to talk a little bit about the methodology, about how you should be thinking about these kinds of things whenever you play any game, any competitive game, Overwatch included. But especially Overwatch, because in Overwatch you can change your strategy on the fly, and it's very clear how you do that. It's by changing your hero. Now, in other games where there's a competitive aspect, like PlanetSide 2, and I realize PlanetSide 2 doesn't have any kind of ranked play or anything like that, but it is still three sides vying for control of a continent or multiple continents. So there is competition there. But in any game where you can change your strategy, you want to have a mindset of trying things out, giving things a fair shot before switching away from a strategy to a different strategy, and eventually coming across something that works. Now, Overwatch, I feel, is a game where players will try many different things, because that's the point of the game, to change heroes. Will try many different things in rapid succession, and in so doing, they may actually miss out on a strategy that works. Now, that's not the case here. Here we do try multiple things, and we run across multiple things that don't work very well. And here we can see that I have already switched to Bastion, because I noticed that my team didn't have any kind of defensive hero. We didn't have a Bastion. We didn't have a Torbjorn. Yeah, we have a Symmetra, but we have no Bastion and no Torbjorn. So, and we are on a defensive. We are on the defensive side of this map. We're trying to prevent this truck from reaching the end of the map, reaching the that third point up at the top middle on that bar. We're trying to prevent the truck from getting that far. And here I accidentally jump over the... I didn't really accidentally jump over it, but I jumped over the ridge and met the enemy team. I wanted to take a look over and maybe stand on that ridge for a little bit and take a couple shots, but I ended up falling over right into the enemy team. But I switched over to Bastion, hoping to find a position where I can transform into his turret form and do a lot of good for the team. Unfortunately, we don't really get that opportunity a whole lot. And so I fall back to the Bastion style of play, where you use his mobile form and deal a lot of damage with his primary gun. And that's what I'm doing here. I feel like Bastion mains do that a lot. Bastion mains are probably the types of players who will use this form with his mobility and his gun as like sort of a mobile assault platform, which is what Bastion basically is. He's a mobile assault platform with the ability to transform into this turret form whenever the situation suits it. But I've got Genji here on the opposing team, who is a pretty good counter to Bastion all around. So this really isn't working all that well for me here, but we're going to stick with Bastion for a little bit, because maybe there will be a position for us to... I missed the teleporter right there. Maybe there will be a position or a situation for us to really take advantage of his turret form. But I want to go back to talking about Bastion play. I feel like a lot of players think that Bastion only has one form, which is his turret form, and basically this form is there to get him into position for that turret form. It's not true. As you can see, his arm cannon, his default cannon right here, it deals a lot of damage. He is a mobile assault platform, and he should be played that way for the most part. A lot of Bastion players, I feel like a lot of Bastion mains take advantage of his primary form just as much as they take advantage of his turret form. Anyway, it's not really working here for us all that well. The enemy team is pushing. They are steadily making progress. I haven't switched off of Bastion at this point because I have his ultimate ready, and I'm hoping I can find a position to be able to use that. But it's actually not working out right now. However, this does touch on the topic that I wanted to talk about earlier. A lot of players might have switched away from Bastion at this point because it's not working. I've said it several times at this point, it's not working. So they might have switched away at this point. But whenever you try something new, if you have the time, if you can afford the time, try and give whatever you're trying a fair shot. Give it a fair shake. Let it have time to hopefully try and work, which is what I've been doing with Bastion up to this point. And now I'm stuck in a position where if I switch, I lose his ultimate, and if I stay with something that doesn't work, who knows how his ultimate will do, right? So now I'm kind of in a bad position because I don't want to lose that ultimate charge that I've built up. So I have to use it as soon as possible so that I can switch away. Right now, while I'm playing this match, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I need to use this ult, I need to switch off of Bastion because, well, we need to find something that actually does work, but I don't want to lose this ult charge. So it's kind of a difficult decision for you to make, right? But I decided to make the decision to wait around for the ultimate. So even as Bastion, you can tell my strategy has changed. I'm not looking for a position to bunker up and use his turret form to defend anymore, which is what I originally set out to do, while using his primary form with the arm cannon. Now, I'm looking for a position to use his ult. So we are still changing strategies, and we have been changing strategies several times since the start of this video. We tried Genji, then we tried Bastion in looking for a position to turret up. We tried Bastion in his mobile form, and now we're trying Bastion in his ult form, or we're trying to find a position for his ult form. So several different strategies we're trying. They're not working, but we're giving each one a fair try before we switch away. And that's important. I feel like that's important. You need to give everything that you try a fair shot, because it might work before you switch away. What I'm trying to stress here is that if you switch too quickly away from strategies that you feel aren't working, you might actually switch off of what will become a working strategy. Alright, so we used his ult there, and we got a little bit of damage off. We helped take down a Roadhog, and might have dealt a little bit more damage to 3 of their carries, or their less durable heroes over there. But this isn't really working, and we don't have the ult charge anymore, so we switch over to Mercy at this point. Now, I am rusty as far as my gameplay, we'll put it this way. My gameplay of Overwatch is a bit rusty because I haven't played regularly, or I haven't played for long stretches of time in a couple of months now. So I switch over to Mercy, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I'm going to hang back. I'm not going to rush straight forward. I'm not going to rush straight to the front of the front lines right now. I'm going to wait for Skid. Skid is the exact opposite. He is not rusty at this game. He has been playing regularly, and so I figured, you know what? Let's go ahead and give who I perceive to be my team's best player the best shot at carrying this game. As we can see, the opposing team has nearly won. Look at that blue bar in the top middle of the screen. They've nearly won. Oh, we're going to take a Tracer ultimate here, and both of us get taken down, which is okay. But if you'll notice, before that, I was able to give Skid a lot of healing and a lot of damage boost for us to clear the point, and now the point is actually moving backwards. So I've switched strategies yet again. I am taking the fact that I am not inexperienced at this game. I'm not inexperienced at Overwatch at all, but I don't have the mechanics that I had before, and I'm going up against players who are probably more practiced in this game than I am at this point. So what I decided to do is I switched over to Mercy to give players who do have those mechanics and who are more practiced the best chance at winning. So now I'm giving Skid healing, I'm giving him damage boosting, because like I said, he is currently in practice in this game. He plays regularly, and I want to emphasize that. My ult is actually up at this point, and I'm thinking I can save it for Skid, but I notice in the middle of my screen, teammate down ×1, and then it increases to ×2, and then ×3, so I stop for a second to cast my ult to bring up the rest of my team. So I am still supporting the rest of my team, even though I am pocket healing Skid. I am still supporting my team with my ultimate there. I found a good opportunity to use it from behind a wall, no less, to resurrect the downed members of my team, bring them back into the game, while still providing healing and damage boosting to Skid over here, who, by the way, if you haven't noticed, is doing a phenomenal job. He is one of the Reinhardt players, he's one of few Reinhardt players I've seen that is willing to get extremely aggressive and plays it very well. It's possible to be a player who gets extremely aggressive and doesn't play that well, but Skid does play an aggressive Reinhardt very well, and he's not afraid to do it either. He knows he's got Mercy support. I hang out behind the wall so the Diva's ult doesn't get me. And now I'm giving him some damage support. He's just tearing up the opposing team's tank and anybody around their tank as well. He pops their frontliners, and now he's going after the less durable members of the opposing team. Notice how Genji dashed behind Skid to attack me, and then Skid turned around immediately and engaged Genji to protect his healer, which would be Mercy, who I'm playing at this particular point. That's very, very good play. Now he's popped up his shield. He has brought up his shield so that he can protect himself while I heal him. And I notice he's got a good amount of health, so I switch over to the... Well, I'm healing him now, but whenever he's in good health, I make sure and switch over to the damage boost. He's got a lot of damage boost going on right now, and I'm taking a lot of damage. The opposing team finally does find an opportunity to take me down, so I get taken down. But notice how we're at 1 minute and 9 seconds left to go in this game, and the opposing team has been stopped cold at this point, and even been pushed back a little bit. So now I get started again as Mercy. I'm moving on up there. I have my ultimate ready, and the opposing team is kind of pushing back at this point. They're hitting us a little bit hard, but that's okay. I'm not really too worried about it. We do have 51 seconds left on the clock. We just got to make sure the opposing team doesn't make a solid push and then gets cohesive, which is what we're trying to prevent right now. Instead of waiting for Skid to get back, I move up to the front lines this time, as opposed to the first time I spawned Mercy in this game, where I waited for Skid. Now I'm going up to the front line because it matters. Now we only have 30 seconds to go in the team. I want to make sure that I'm up front with the team to help them out at this point instead of just waiting for Skid. So I'm healing everybody, I'm giving them damage boosts. Skid finally does make it back to the front lines, and then we go back to doing exactly what we were doing before. We have found a strategy that works. Now notice my thinking as far as this strategy is concerned. Whenever I switched over to Mercy, my thinking wasn't, I need to find a hero that I'll do well with. My thinking was, I need to emphasize my team's strengths. Okay? It wasn't focused on me. My decision to switch to Mercy and support Skid, to pocket heal Skid, wasn't focused around me entirely. It was focused around emphasizing my team's strengths. The first two champions, the first two heroes that I played, Genji and Bastion, were both also team-based decisions. I like to play Genji because I feel like I can do a lot of good for the team as Genji, but it wasn't working here. I picked Bastion because we needed a defensive hero for the team, but it wasn't working. And now, again, for the team, I wanted to emphasize our strengths, and I figured Mercy was the best way to do that. And I think that's the line of thinking you kind of want to be looking for there, is you want to think, how can I emphasize my team's strengths? Alternatively, you can think, how can I maximize the opposing team's weaknesses? How can I exploit mistakes and exploit holes in their strategy? Things like that. So there's a lot of different ways that you can go about it, but make sure you have some sort of methodology in your thinking whenever you change strategies. Alright, so that will do it for this particular game. I hope you folks enjoyed this. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you folks next time.